About the growing mariculture industry in Guimaras. Before, we're not a milk fish producing province. Mostly, milk fish is produced by fish ponds. But lately, it is through fish cages and fish pens. There's a growing number of that in Guimaras. And we see the needs to support the industry by coming up with local feeds, of course. And this would lower the production costs, make our produce more competitive in the market. And so going, this along with the sustainable agenda that we intend to realize. So like for example, the feed mill would cater for the livestock industry, which is promising in Guimaras, especially with ASF threatening us, poultry, and of course the fishery sector. And there's not much corn plantation in Guimaras actually. And this would, this process would promote more productivity as far as agriculture is concerned, because we need 300 to 500 hectares of corn, aside from other raw sources for this. So it will be a sustainable economy that we project on. On the infrastructure, we're supporting investments, particularly on tourism, to see to it that it's not only accessible, but it should be conveniently accessible to everyone who visits Guimaras.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Just one question. There are 3 or 5 towns in the province.
There are 5.
5 towns. Are they also equipped to approve permits within 1 day?
We've been dealing with that ever since before. In fact, we've been looking for a more integrated approach by putting up one-stop shop for the entire province.
Okay.
So you don't need to go from one town to another.
Very good. Very good. Okay. Thank you, Mayor. And I'd like to give the mic to our 11th City Mayor, Jerry Trenes. Jerry, any final words outside of your presentation earlier?
For Iloilo City, we have already 4 off-site payment centers, which are all converted into a business one-stop shop during renewal of permits in January. About to be completed is a government center that will house a business one-stop shop so that anyone can just go there. We already accept business permits online, but it takes time because we have a joint inspection team that will look at your business just to make sure to avoid certain businesses. I think last month we were able to arrest 17 foreign nationals engaging in some hanky-panky. So it takes another day for the joint inspection team to go to the business and thereafter issue the permit. For renewals, it's quite fast because we are using already the DICT permitting, and there are only some issues when it comes to the sales that are reported. So there are 4 off-site payment centers in the malls, in SM, in Megaworld, in 2 of the local malls, which were offered for free for the city, and we only pay the COSA for them. For Iloilo, we are offering it for BPOs. As I have said, we're running out of buildings. And just last year, I had a forum together with all the real estate companies and the Lichu to explain that there's a lack of BPO buildings in Iloilo. And I think Ayala is building 2, SM is completing 1 building, and there are other buildings which are in the pipeline.
Right. And I understand that there's about 10,000 seats of BPOs that are needed, and that will take more than 3 buildings.
I think now we already have
30 plus thousand.
30 plus thousand. There's some BPO companies that want to open and expand, but the problem is really BPO buildings which are ready for them. But hopefully some of you are listening and maybe will start building. There were some problems on PESA accreditation. What we did was we invited PESA, and PESA is now has a designated representative station in City Hall. So if you want to get PESA accreditation, the PESA representative is in City Hall can help you already. We want to work for all the other municipalities in Iloilo, including Guimaras, because our mindset is this: whatever development that happens in Metro Iloilo-Guimaras, those who are working there will still go to Iloilo because it's the center. So the more employment in Metro Iloilo-Guimaras, the better for Iloilo City, because I'm sure and certain that all of them will be spending their money in Iloilo City anyway. So we want investments to come to all these municipalities, and our office is ready to help anyone who will come to Metro Iloilo-Guimaras. Because the more employment for the municipalities and Guimaras, the better for Iloilo, because more will be spending in Iloilo. And that's why it's a symbiotic relationship. That's why we are very serious about this, and we want investments coming in to Metro Iloilo-Guimaras.
Thank you, Jerry. 3 weekends ago, the governor of Eastern Samar, Benny Cardone, invited me to talk to as keynote speaker for the investment forum in Borongan. And the assigned topic to me: how do you explain the Iloilo miracle? Somebody must have told him that Jerry and I worked for some time, including Nars and Alfonso Oigogo, in rebuilding Iloilo. But one of the 2 things that Jerry mentioned in his talk, in his presentation, are the fact that it's not just physical infrastructure. The soft side of development is running at the pace as fast as the physical infrastructure. The revival of arts and culture, and they have concerts and performing arts. Senator Dulon brings in the ballet group and philharmonic orchestra. The cultural life in the city is something to behold. The increasing number of visual artists, painters, that has grown under this program of Jerry. So the soft side of development is just as important as the physical infrastructure that you should promote as local chief executives. The other part that Jerry didn't mention, and this is something close to my heart, is that early in the game, when he first became mayor of Iloilo City, he asked us at the Institute for Solidarity in Asia to help him craft the roadmap of Iloilo for the future. And Iloilo was one of the original cities in the country that had that roadmap. The other mayor was Jesse Robredo of Naga City and Mel Sarmiento of Samar. And that roadmap helped Jerry with a clear vision for the city for the future. And because he did it so well, and he executed the strategy so well, that Iloilo became a global Hall of Fame award in governance, awarded by Palladium Group of Harvard Business School. Amazing. So he's a Hall of Fame. You should talk about these things, Jerry. Not too many cities around the world has reached Global Hall of Fame for governance. That's how good the city has become. And as a matter of fact, what I wanted to, and just last week I had a session with Governor Toto Defensor, and we're offering the services of ISA in the same way that we developed the roadmap of Iloilo City for the future. We're offering our services as the Institute for Solidarity in Asia, not only for the province, but for all the municipalities of Iloilo, so that we'll have a one Iloilo strategy. The province, all the component cities, including Iloilo City. And hopefully we can talk to Governor Nava. We can help you with that also. Roadmap for the future. Okay, so we're 5 minutes past our deadline, so thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for sharing more of what you have in the respective SGUs. All of this will be hospitable to investors. Thank you very much.
Thank you to our esteemed Metro Iloilo-Guimaras local chief executives. Please feel free to approach them to discuss myriad ways for collaboration and investment. May I request Mr. Drilon to please remain on stage to moderate the next panel discussion. For our next panel discussion, we have the country head of CBRE Philippines, Mr. J.S. Penosa. Joining him is the Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer of the World Trade Center Metro Manila, Mr. Arturo Boncato Jr. Next on the list is the President of More Electric and Power Corporation, Mr. Ruel Castro. And joining the list is the President and Chief Executive Officer of Metro Pacific Water. We have Mr. Christopher Andrew Pangilinan. Now I turn over the floor to Mr. Drilon.
Thank you. I'm back, and with me are four handsome gentlemen to talk about their companies, what they've been doing for Iloilo, and what they can do for Iloilo. So without much further ado, what I had requested them to think about are answers to four basic questions. First, of course, we'll give them at least a minute to share their company profile, what they do, and so on and so forth. Second is, why Iloilo? Why did you come here? Or why are you coming here? And what industries do you represent, and what other industries you think you can join in Iloilo? For example, Metro Pacific Group is here for water, but they're also open to other ventures, and probably our guest from Metro Pacific can share with us some of those. Third, and fourth, essentially from Ruel of More Power, and also for the Metro Pacific, Andrew Pangilinan, on how we can be assured of adequate water while waiting for the Halao River produce 100,000 cubic meters a day for Iloilo City. So those are the first questions. Can I call those who are here based on the positioning of the notes? First with G. Espinosa, CBRE. 4 questions. Talk about your company and then what you do. Why did you come or why are you coming to Iloilo? What industries aside from your business would be interesting? And have those 3 questions.
Thank you so much, Rex. So first of all, I'm a full-blooded Ilonggo. I was born in Iloilo and I was educated in Iloilo all the way until high school. No? So Iloilo holds a very special place in my heart. I am the country head of CBRE. So CBRE is the world's largest real estate services company. We represent a lot of the BPO companies in Iloilo right now. We advise them on their expansion requirements, their growth requirements, and we also ultimately manage all of their office spaces there in Iloilo.
Okay. Why here? What did you find in Iloilo?
I think, if there's one thing that I could really say that has really struck me over the last 3 years, because, the one thing, you talk about the Iloilo miracle earlier, Rex, but the one thing that's really phenomenal for me is that during the last 3 years at the height of the pandemic, Iloilo has seen the strongest growth in the BPO sector. A lot of the BPO companies in Metro Manila, as soon as the pandemic hit, they were forced to look at provincial locations for growth because they were hard-pressed for cost. And Iloilo at that time had amazing infrastructure, and they were able to leverage on what was available in the city. I keep saying this anecdote because I think this is the most, for me, impactful anecdote that I could share with everybody here in this room. At the height of the pandemic around 2021, our client, Asurion, was in the lookout for expansion space beyond Metro Manila. They already had their BPO space in Nuvali. And at that time, they were looking at 3 locations: Clark, Iloilo, and Bacolod. Their global executives flew in from Nashville, Tennessee, and at the point of them coming over to Iloilo at that time, to the Philippines at that time, they were more or less already set in their ways. They really wanted to focus on Clark. So we went around Clark area, and for some reason, they felt that the infrastructure that they saw there, the available office buildings that they saw there, and the environment that they saw there, they felt that they needed to check additional locations more. And I didn't really want to hard sell Iloilo at the time because I felt that if I did, it would be very self-serving because I was already from the city. But as soon as we landed in Iloilo, as soon as they left the Iloilo airport, and as soon as they drove down that boulevard in Mega World, it was game over. We had a very good conversation, not only with Mega World, which was their prospective landlord at the time, but I think the most important experience for them was that during that day, we dropped by the office of the city mayor, si Mayor Chanyas. During that day, he had a very, very busy schedule, and si Mayor Chanyas took time, even for a few minutes, to sit down with them and hear them out. At that point, the global real estate head of Asurion said, we don't even need to go to Bacolod. And they really focused on Iloilo at the time. So what am I trying to say? I think, what we sometimes fail to see and really recognize is that outside of Metro Manila, Iloilo is a very highly urbanized city. I think the biggest selling proposition has always been our people, the fact that we have a lot of graduates. But, just the fact that we're here today, it's really amazing that almost all of the local government units are represented here today. That's a very, very big deal. I don't think that any province, for that matter, Metro Iloilo and Guimaras, like Metro Iloilo and Guimaras, could really put together all of the LGU units in one room to map out what they need to do in order to make both provinces even better. And that shows for political will. And it's really just about making it right and doing it right. And I think, we really need to recognize that because that's the thing that's really impressing all of the foreign investors that come over to both Metro Iloilo and Guimaras.
Thank you, G. I was once the head of the Visayas Mindanao operations of Ayala Land, and also in my last corporate assignment of Sud Ortigas. And we talk a lot to the big boys of the BPO industry in Manila. And I was told that one of the key considerations when a locator decides on a community, one is to look at the quality of the education for their children. That took me by surprise. Importante pala yun sa mga locators. They want their children to go to very good quality schools. And Iloilo has, 26 colleges and universities, produce 25,000 graduates a year. The other one is the environment. Peace and order, is it a pleasant environment? And Iloilo has become one of the most pleasant cities, I guess, in the country. A good mix of hard and soft development, a balanced development with clear visions of the future. So that's why I think BPOs would do well locating more here in Iloilo. But the other thing, G, aside from BPOs, you're in the real estate game, and there are many real estate developments here in the city. All the big boys are here: Ayala, Robinsons, SM, and so on and so forth, Mega World. We've seen the sins of the past, like even in Cebu City, where unbridled development has destroyed the charm and the environment. Look at Baguio City, for example. The unbridled development there, in the name of progress, has made it a very oppressive environment. What would be your advice to real estate investors in the Philippines in that regard?
I think to a certain extent, Iloilo is very unique because, there's a very clear delineation about Old Downtown and where the new developments are. It's very, very impressive. What I keep telling, Velma when she joined us for our forum several months back, it's very important that the developers, not just the national developers, the Ayala, Mega World, Robinsons, Philinvest, and SMs of this world, but I think it's very important for even the local developers, the local businessmen, to look at it holistically. It is a symbiotic environment. It's not just all about office development. The support services that come along with it is very, very important. So when, I keep coming back to Iloilo the past 3 years, I really felt that there's a lot of pent-up energy from our local business people. And I think it's really important that, they fully understand that it's not just about building office buildings, but building the support systems that matter as well, so that the environment where the BPO players operate in would be really, really successful. And what really struck me lang, Rex, it's very important for me that I have to give kudos. The panel before us is very good because I think Miss Nora, who's here, who's going to be in the next panel later on, will agree, no? It's very important that our local government units, for them, our mayors, the concept of the IT-BPM sector is demystified. I think that ultimately they need, we need to constantly engage our local government units that it's not just about the contact centers, but when you're talking about IT-BPM sector. When I graduated in UP High School in Iloilo, half of my batch were accountants, half of them were doctors. And right now, what's resonating in the global IT-BPM sector, two things. The BFSI sector, which is financial services, and the healthcare sector, which Ms. Nora ultimately represents. No? And I think it's a perfect opportunity for us to be able to scale up, because past the contact center jobs that most of our employees currently have right now in the IT parks in Iloilo, there is an opportunity for us to be able to employ our people for higher skills that pay more and ultimately give the opportunity for a lot of our working professionals to come back to the city and contribute to the local economy.
Okay. So now from real estate we shift to MICE. Maybe Mr. Bongkato Jr.
Thank you, Sir Rex. Actually prepared 4 slides for you to answer your 4 questions, if they can help me. But I'm from Davao, not from Iloilo. But if I were to have the choice to move to the Visayas, Iloilo is a great place to start.
Yes.
So very quickly, I represent the MICE sector. I represent the World Trade Center Metro Manila. We are not yet in Iloilo, but we are here to share with you the standards of MICE that, of course, Mayor Treñas, Senator Dillon have been talking about since the start of the program. So the World Trade Center Metro Manila is the first international standard exhibition facility in the Philippines. We were built in 1996 in time for the APEC meetings during the time of President Ramos. And since then, we're able to host similar meetings like the ASEAN Summit, ASEAN Games, and many more international and local exhibitions and special events. We are part of the global network of the World Trade Center Association, over 300 world centers in 100 countries all over the world. And we are an accredited member and now a board director of UFI, the Union de Foires Internationales, the Global Exhibition Industry Association, and the Philippines is now represented in that. And of course, we're recognized by the Philippine Department of Tourism, the Tourism Promotions Board, and the private sector. I come here to talk about the MICE industry. As you can see on the screen, the MICE industry is a premium segment of the tourism industry. People who come for MICE spend 6 times more than a regular tourist in any destination.
Or what's MICE again?
MICE, meetings, incentive travel, conventions, exhibitions, and events.
Thank you.
So these are the segments of a premium segment of the tourism industry that is global in presence. As you can see on the slide, can you bring it back to the previous slide? The industry is the most encompassing to my mind, and in terms of ripple effect, the most far-reaching in terms of economic impact. It has direct, indirect, and even induced impact on the economy. Because when we hold an international meeting, for instance, in Iloilo, such as in the case of APEC and ASEAN, we're able to really utilize the talents of our marginalized sectors. Our women and children in the far-flung barrios of the region get to earn something, and it is the benefit of being in the MICE industry. The next slide will show you that Iloilo is not new in the game. In fact, we have a very clear track record. Iloilo is one of the few cities in the Philippines that have the record of hosting both APEC and ASEAN meetings, and that alone makes you a primary destination for MICE today. And in 2018, together with Senator Dillon, Mayor Treñas, Ms. Nars, and Ms. Cleo Albiso of Mega World, when we launched the Meet You in Iloilo campaign, we had 5 major message points to our clients. That Iloilo has a thriving tourism industry. It has hotels, resorts, restaurants. Connectivity, both sea and land, are present. Number 2, there is a deliberate program for MICE, both by the private sector and the government. Number 3, your respect for heritage, history, culture is so important, and it's compared to your future vision of being sustainable. And this is really key to making a destination a successful MICE destination. Even before you were awarded the UNESCO Creative Award for Gastronomy, we already declared it, that Iloilo is by far the best gastronomic destination in the Philippines. And the Ilonggo brand of hospitality is unparalleled. Your sweetness, your gentleness, and high sense of refinement. That makes Iloilo a successful MICE destination as it is. But we must build for the future, and that is our message for today. I represent the exhibition segment of the MICE industry. Often it's not talked about. When you see an exhibition, you think it's just a bazaar. But there's more to it than what you see. An exhibition is a platform for industries to come together under one roof. For instance, the food industry and the light manufacturing industry of Leganes, for instance, or Auton, can come together to Iloilo, invite the biggest players and buyers from all over the world, bring them under one roof to improve trading, to improve business, and consequently to improve tourism. That is the value of the exhibition industry. Our question today is Iloilo ready to become an exhibition destination, to be part of the Philippines map of destinations? And in a major direction now globally is the diversification of destinations. Not only are the major cities considered now as MICE destinations, we're looking for secondary and tertiary destinations to show local flavor, to become the most authentic destination for all of these clients coming from all over the world. So that is the challenge we pose before you today. Is Iloilo ready to become an international MICE destination? Thank you.
I see the head of Mayor Reyes nodding, so the answer is yes. And now we go to the infrastructure side of things. We have Andrew Pangilinan from the Metro Pacific Group. Andrew.
Hello, thank you, Vice Chairman Rex. Good morning to everyone, to Mayor Jerry for inviting us and Metro Pacific Water. So my name is Andrew Pangilinan. I'm currently the head of Metro Pacific Water. In relation to your question, yes, we've been partners with Iloilo for, I think we're going on the 5th year next year. Thanks also to Senator Frankie Tirlon, who helped us immensely in making this partnership come to life. In terms of preference, I can't really say that we really pinpointed Iloilo as a target, but looking back at where we came from, I came from Maynila, by the way, before joining NBIC. I think it's the success story of what we did there and trying to replicate this outside Metro Manila. I think everyone mentioned here the success of Iloilo, the growth, the aggressiveness on the expansion side. So we want to be part of that. So just to give an overview on what we're doing now with Iloilo. So we're right now we're covering about 26%, 27% of our concession. Definitely a lot of room for expansion, but one of the main challenges right now is our water supply. So as also presented by Mayor and Senator Frankie Tirlon, we're very excited when Halloween finally comes in. In parallel to that, we're doing our own infrastructure investments as well. And in the meantime, I guess to address this, I would say band-aid solution. But we are developing, or at least in serious talks and putting up the largest desalination plant in Iloilo. Hopefully, by the second quarter of next year, we'll start the constructions for that. Capacity-wise, that's around 65 MLD as well. And just to also put in perspective on our commitment and how serious we are investing in Iloilo, we're earmarked to invest around 6 billion over the next 10 years, not including the desalination project to remind everyone. So we're there, we're committed fully. Mayor Jerry also mentioned the waste to energy project that we're pushing for. Of course, going through the due process though, but hopefully we also get awarded to that. I think the bottom line is our service being water is I think the most basic need of everyone, whether this be convention centers or real estate development or others. So we should be able to provide that. So we are doing our best to at least coincide with all these ongoing developments with Iloilo.
Thank you, Andrew. I guess beyond just supplying the city with water is the bigger issue of water adequacy and water security. And I think in the next decade or so, Iloilo will have, even with all of these projects going on along the river, your projects of desalination, we still need to assure the Ilonggos that in the far future there will always be water for Ilonggos and secure and adequate and affordable water. Are your plans going beyond just being distributors or generators for water?
Definitely. As I was had a short talk with Mayor earlier. So part of the sorry, I'll go back to water again. But part of the other investments under the Metro Pacific Group is the hospital group. So we are very aggressive there. I think as of today we have about 25 hospitals, and in the Visayas region we just have about 2. So Governor mentioned, I think in Guimaras we have 1, and also in Iloilo City. So we will look into that. They're open to partnerships. As our mandate in MPIC is we invest, we manage, and we grow. So we want to do that as well in other aspects.
That's good to know, because one of the members of the audience is your major competitor. Paulo Borromeo of Ayala Hospitals is here. So between the two of you, I think you'll cover all the hospital needs of not only the city but the province.
Friendly competition, sir.
Co-opetition. Okay. But are there other investment areas outside of hospitals, desalination plants, and of course the basic water distribution?